Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, LiveLine1988. I'm Nick Young, and today I wanted to talk about sensory overload. It's kind of a thing that I have to deal with. Uh, what it basically is when your senses kind of go overload. You get to the chance. Some people get to the point where they don't know where they are. I've never gotten that badly. I don't get it that badly, but with mine, what happens with me is I went to a concert around Christmas time in 2014, and it was embarrassing because this arena is like 3 floors. Three. It was the main floor and then 2 balconies above that, and there were tons of people there. They filled the entire arena, with for this concert. I wasn't. The trouble happened at the gate because what happened was we got there early, so we got to be at the front, more the front of the line. We didn't get in we didn't get let in first because we had to. We didn't pay the I guess $50 or so to get in in first. So they let us in. They let the line. We were in second. So we got basically it was the line. It was the arena and then a parking garage, and the line went from the front steps of the arena all the way around to the side of the parking garage on the other side of the courtyard. We didn't. Luckily this time we got there early enough, and so we got to be where this little cutoff area, this little area that they divided, uh, like right in front of the stairs, right in front of the stairs to get up to the doors of the arena. So it was all fine and everything. We were in this little section. We were sitting down. It was nice and it was relaxed. I didn't get sensory overload then. It was right when they were about to let everyone into the arena that it started to come. It started to kind of. I could tell I was going a little overboard. Could tell my senses were going a little overboard. Uh, so what had happened was they opened up the line to this little area that we were in, and everyone packed right in front of the door. I mean, honestly, you could not step like this or like that without pushing someone over. It was honestly terrible, and so I started to get a little bit of overloaded. Not like there wasn't any noise. There was people chit chatting and all. But it was just real crowded, real crowded, big, I could see the gigantic arena in front of me and everything, and it was just like real crowded. So after that, after a few hours of that, and my dad had to try to calm me down because not that I was freaking out, I was just kind of looking like I was gonna fall over, and I laughed, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. Um, so finally, they let us in up. They let us stampede. I mean, I didn't run, but they opened up the gate and a freaking stampede went up the stairs, up the arena stairs. uh, and the way they set it up was up the arena stairs, and then the two doors on the other side. They only opened up the 2 doors on the other side of the entrance, and then they would take people's. You go up, go the left or the right, and then they would take your ticket, and then you'd go down this little across the little porch that they had in the front and into the arena. Luckily, like, I didn't get hit or anything, but. And the thing is, with this arena and with this specific arena, I don't know about any others, but the entrance people dart towards the bottom floor because no one wants to sit next to the solar system. No one wants to sit up there. Present company included. So yeah, we get there. And we luckily after having to run around the entire arena, we finally find some seats. Luckily, on the first floor. This is the first time I've been to this concert for like 4 or 5 years, and this is the first time I'd ever been on the first floor. Okay. So I was really excited about that. I thought, okay, this isn't going to be so bad. Yeah, there's people, but I'm on the first floor, so if I have to walk outside or I can just walk out and plus, have you ever tried to get out of an arena seat? when you are in the third balcony. I mean, yeah, third balcony. You're up in the top. It's kind of nervous. You know, I mean, an angle like this can feel like an angle like this. Like, you know, they can make a, you know, make any angle, makes any, I don't care what angle that um, balcony is. It can feel like you're at a 90 degree, you're sitting 90 degrees. You know, even if it's not. uh, but yeah, I'm just glad I didn't get up there. So we enjoyed the concert and everything, and then, you know, the opening acts, nobody's really loud for the opening acts because nobody knows who they are. Uh, so, yeah, the opening acts are going, blah, blah, blah. I'm just sitting in my seat, I'm fine. I think I had a soda in my hand for that part, you know, so I was sipping my soda and I was fine. But then when the real band, you know, the main acts, the first main act that got on the stage, it got loud, like really, really, it got loud and dark, and just like, if you've ever been to a concert, you know what I'm talking about. When everyone just seems to scream at once, ow, you know, it hurts. It hurt, and I had this girl behind me that had the loudest screech. I mean, it wasn't even a scream; it was a screech. It was like she was in a flippin' horror movie, and like a ghost was chasing her or something. You know, uh, that was annoying. You know, and that kind of helped me with, you know, that kind of helped with my sensory overload because I was getting screamed at and plus all this other screaming. And when the concert started, there was lights going all over the place. And this concert lasted for like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, I don't ever suggest going to a 3 or 4 hour concert when you have sensory overload because, you know, you're not going to like it. You're not going to have a fun time. You know, yeah, it's not. You know, you're gonna have. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. This is not the thing to be laughed about. I'm sorry. Um, so yeah, like the concert went on. I got screamed. You know, my ears got busted almost. I almost got, you know, almost busted my ears with all the screaming and the loud music and, you know, the you know, concert noise. You know. So, I mean, there was one band that they're louder than most are, but I like them. So the noise doesn't really bother me. I mean, yeah, they are as loud as heck, but you know, noise doesn't bother me. Uh, yeah. So that, you know, after that band, there was one or two others. I think there was only like two others that were there, and after the band that I like went on, these people in the seat in front of us moved, and then they got up and left because I think the next band wasn't their cup of tea or something. I don't know. So they got up and left, and then some other people who I guess were either just got in or were up at the top and wanted to find some seats that were down on the first level. They came in, and it was a mom and I think 3 little girls and a dad. I think there was a dad there. So yeah, this girl had this stick thing, this light stick thing, foam light stick, that I like to call it the seizure stick because that's how much the light was flashing. She was waving this thing all over. She was sitting right in front of me, waving this thing all over the place in front of my face. And I mean, between that, the girl screeching, there was still screeching behind me, all the other noise, the loud music, and like I said, this girl's freaking seizure stick. But that's it. By the end of the concert, I had to get out of there. And so, when the concert ended, as soon as the last band did their last song, I was up and out of there. I mean, I just like freaking, just imagine Roadrunner running out of a concert, running out of an arena. That was me, except I didn't run out of the arena. I ran to stand in front of the exit because, my dad and sister, my mom could go get their T-shirts, get some of the bands to sign their shirts or CDs or whatever. So I just thought, okay, I'll just sit here. That didn't help at all, because when the concert was over, everyone, luckily I didn't get into a crowd, but everyone flushed out of the main arena and into the hallway. It's a giant arena and it was full, and those hallways aren't that big. You know, they're not that big. You know, so there was people going this way and that way and this way and that way, yelling, screaming, talking, you know, loud, 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 and plus they were playing music in the hallway, which wasn't a very good thing. You know, so by the time the end of the concert, I just had to, you know, it's just like, this is why I was standing there, I'm just like, saying, oh gosh, I need to get out of here. You know, that's all I was saying to myself. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. So what I did was I texted my dad. Well, actually, my dad found me, and he said, you know, you're all right and everything. And my sister was, of course, upset because I had to leave, and she wanted to get a T-shirt or whatever. She ended up getting a T-shirt later, but so my dad basically just said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to have, you know, he basically said, I'm done, we're leaving, you know, Nick, let's go. So, that was alright, you know. So, the whole thing ended up nice because I got to see one of my favorite bands, and my dad was very nice in saying that, you know, he did try to calm me, trying to get me to calm down. You know, it's not, you know, he did his best, you know, he did. But my senses were still going all over the place by this point. And so, you know, the minute we got out of the arena, it's weird, because I don't know about with your sensory overload, if you have it, or with another friend that you have that has it, you know, when you are in a loud place, it is raging. Your senses are raging everywhere. And you just feel like curling into a little ball and dying. That's... You know, I'm not talking suicide here. I'm just saying, you know that feeling when you just like, I wanna die. You know, I'm just gonna crawl into a little ball and die. So, the weird thing about sensory overload is that doesn't fade out. It stops, which is weird because we were in the arena hallway, and my sensory overload was raging, and then the minute we walked into the quiet, surprisingly, stairwell, it just went, bye. You know, my sensory overload was just like, bye. You know, and I was fine. I was perfectly fine. You know, it's weird that, I mean, tell me in the comments if you've ever had that, you know, where you go from a loud place and then to a quiet place, and your sensory overload just stays at the door, basically. I'm glad it does. I'm pretty glad it does, because I don't want to have the whole day ruined by this, you know. I don't want to have the whole day ruined by something, you know, something like this, you know. You know, like I said, you know, if you have any helpful tips, well, I'm going to say, if you have any helpful tips for getting over sensory overload, or if you know someone, or you have sensory overload, I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is serious. This is a serious video. I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit. So yeah, if you know someone with sensory overload, or you have sensory overload, or and you have tips to get over sensory overload, you know, like, I just want to know in the comment section below, like, what do you do? What do you do when you have sensory overload? How do you get over it? Get over it in a way. Not really get over it. It's more, how do you deal with it? Let's just say that. How do you deal with it? Tell me in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and comment on this video. And I will see you the next time I make a video. Alright, goodbye.